Hey, Spider Nation, welcome back to another episode of Spider-Man's Tangled Web Show. I'm Jonathan, webmaster of SpiderManFanRave.com, SpiderManFanRave.com, and tonight I'm being joined by James. What's going on, James?
I wish it was last Sunday again.
It's last Sunday again?
I wish it was last Sunday again. I wish it
I'm
was
sorry.
last weekend all over again.
Yes, because
God.
for those of you who did not notice, we had to take a week off from this podcast because if we didn't, I would have been doing the show by myself, which I guarantee no one ever wants to hear again. Because for reference, I did do a podcast by myself once. It was incredibly terrible, and no one enjoyed it. But yes, we took a week vacation because James had to get off of his butt in Wisconsin, fly off to California, and go to Power Morphicon. So, James, we're going to give you a few minutes. How was Power Morphicon, sir? Did you have a good time?
I had the time of my life. So the stupid song go, but it was. I said it on one of the videos that posted on my Facebook page. This is the greatest moment of my life until my kids are born. And everybody who went to Morphicon said the same thing. This was a great weekend. It went by too fast. It was literally like blink of an eye. You ride that Thursday, blink of the eye, it's already Sunday, and you're on the plane flying back home. There was everybody, like there's videos on YouTube of people that I met at the convention where they're crying, not in a really geeky, sad way, but in a just time with these really awesome people. And the next Morphicon is like, really, I can't hang out with these awesome people that I spend the whole weekend with, going to dinner and walking around convention and VIP parties and lines for T-shirts that went on forever. Stuff like that. I'm getting emotional, but it's like I had the best time of life and it was fun. Like, I don't know if you count this, but here's my press passes. Pass I had and my press pass in like an hour earlier than everybody else who had the Red Ranger. So suck it. No, just joking, but awesome glass.
Obviously, the Mighty Morphin Red Ranger design.
Yeah. This was only given out to the first like 300, I believe like 300, maybe 500 people, possibly 1,000. I can't remember what the exact number was. But a coin with the movie and the logo and release date. I'll have more on that later during the shoutouts about the whole movie stuff at the. I got this pretty, not really my size, but I don't care, sweater. Gabatira from the Sentai, if you know what it's called, but it's Megaforce, it's called Super Dino Charge Mode. Okay. Carnival Mode in Sentai and Power Rangers, it's called Charge Mode. There it is, Power Rangers, Bandai, Power Morphicon logo on the back. And I got some pretty awesome autographs. The Casa Koda Sentai Jurenja,
Which is the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Obviously, that's where that came from.
Ryu Ranger from Dairanger, aka Season 2 of Minor Power Rangers, or Power Ranger Squadron if you watch Super Mega Force, but it's not really an autograph, but it's my face done in the movie poster.
Which I would think would be really, really cool. I'm going to say that right now. If I got a chance to do it.
Okay, I'll just go off on it now. This and the movie toys of the main 5 Rangers being on display, just the movie toys of the main 5 Rangers, nothing else, being on the Bandai booth, that's all we got from the new Power Ranger movie at the convention. Star Wars convention not having a trailer for episode 8. But anyways, I have this guy, the Pineapple Clown Monster from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, who I only got the autograph for because literally I pitied him and felt really sad for him. But literally nobody goes to his booth every year, so I feel like, you know what? Episode when I was a kid, that was their favorite episode of watching me with the clown Pineapple Monster. The guy kept on waving to me anytime I walked by him because I must have been the only person in the history of Power Morphicon that ever come to him.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, for sure. Red Fisher, aka Titanium Ranger.
Which is from
And
Lightspeed.
tying it back into Marvel for John, aka Malcolm from Jessica Jones. but us Power Ranger fans will always remember him as Scott Truman, the Red RPM Ranger.
Yes, so there's your Marvel tie-in for
totally cool. I told him I have friends that are fans of you from Jessica Jones who aren't Power Ranger fans who would totally kill me right now to take my spot. And he was like, "Dude, awesome, man!" And he gave me a fist bump for that.
Here's this, James.
Jones. And he's like, "Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that's cool." And I go, "Yeah, they would totally kill me right now to replace me to be here right now." That's awesome, man. Awesome. You got that over them. I'm like, yeah. Who likes Jessica Jones? I met one of the actors and got their autograph. And it wasn't at a Marvel con. It was at a Power Ranger con. It's like, thank you for making fun of me for being a Power Ranger fan.
I've never made fun of you for being a Power Rangers fan, James.
I'm telling other people that.
I've never made fun of you for that.
But anyways, fun weekend. It had everything you wanted. It had drama because a lot of the bullshit. It had awkwardness thanks to some of the bullshit. It has laughs. It has new friendships. It had emotion. It has tear-jerking moments. It had sadness. It had points. I'm running out of money and I want to get more. I got to eat tonight, so probably not a good idea. So yeah, it had everything you would want and more. If any of you are Power Ranger fans, pray, and I think it's already been confirmed, but pray there's another Power Morphin Con so I can meet you there and we could toast a beer with Christopher Kamen Lee as he gets shit-faced drunk, licking people, saying #fuck Tommy.
Which has just got to be the best story ever. But all right, what? How can I top that with my 2-week recap? I lived.
Moving on.
I was like, I lived the normal life of a 19-year-old in Northeast Ohio. Like, I did not go to a convention. I did not do. I can't top that. No matter what I say, I can't top that. So it's like
I got to meet actors from a TV show. A lot of them who has Marvel involvement now.
And so it's like I feel so insecure about my life now, James, because you had such an amazing experience, and I was in Northeast Ohio, in the suburbs, and in the city, and in the cities.
And John, before you try to hover it over us, in our 2 playoff games preseason games that didn't get canceled, the Packers are 2-0. So the Packers didn't lose, and in fact, we kicked the Browns' ass. So you can't
James,
bring up that joke.
I know, James. Here's the thing: I watched that game, and originally
I didn't because I was at the convention. I was just checking out my phone went off. Hey, Packers won! Awesome.
In the first half, we were leading you, and then we sucked because we're Cleveland. And I was like, no, I really wanted to hoard this over James. I really did. But the Browns let me down like they always do because they're the Browns. But okay.
Chilling at the bar with my friends. No, actually, I was at the Islands, a restaurant in California, which is they got some really good burgers. Kind of expensive, but hey, I was in Pasadena. What do you expect?
But all right, so
at the hotel, I'll say this right now. At the hotel, the cheapest thing was $19.
Jesus, man,
It was good food. It better have been worth it, and it was. Let's just put it this way: for breakfast, it's $20 for the buffet. I was eating with for staring at me about all the food I plopped on my plate. I said, "Hey, for $20,
you're gonna eat some."
Damn it!
But yeah, okay.
Like Milan, who stole like 4 or 5 bags of Cheerios.
But what has happened?
$20 worth. I'm just taking as many Cheerios as I can for later. I'm like, fuck that. Drop more, waffles and French toast and bacon and sausage on my plate. I don't care if I have a heart attack. I'm from Wisconsin.
All right, but in the 2 weeks that have taken place since our last episode, we have to remind ourselves that this is not a Power Rangers podcast. This is a Spider-Man podcast. And Spider-Man has had his own fair share of adventures and news and things within the past 2 weeks. And so we'll hit the news first because it's very quick. We'll just push it out of the way right now. The only real legitimate confirmed news story. I know there's one that's on everyone's minds. Here's the thing. It's not confirmed yet, and I don't want to be disappointed when it turns out to be fake, which I have a horrible feeling that it is. So here's the thing. We're not going to talk about the elephant in the room until it's confirmed. So just right now, I'm just going to throw that out there.
But people have no idea what you're talking about. Wouldn't that be hilarious? They just watch it like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Yes, but we will talk about the piece of confirmed news that has come out within the past week, and that is we got a little bit more information on the upcoming Amazing Spider-Man Renew Your Vows series that's coming from Jerry Conway and Ryan Stegman. It turns out that it's really, despite the title, it's not the Amazing Spider-Man Renew Your Vows. It's the Amazing Spider Family Renew Your Vows. It's basically Amazing Spider-Man Family, but a title that actually works this time.
It's literally now about a family now.
Yeah, because MJ and Annie are also going to be Spider-themed heroes, and they've actually been given their own costumes designed by Stegman himself.
That's the weird thing. Annie, I can understand, but Mary Jane, that's weird.
Yeah, we saw a cover from Ryan Stegman of all three of them just posing together in their costumes, and we also got some, like, I don't know if you call it promo art, but like the basic production sketches of MJ and Annie's costume. Basically, Mary Jane has her hair up in a bun, and she's got just the eye mask. She's not actually wearing a full face mask, just covering her eyes, and then a white and red fitting spider suit. And Annie has a little bit more going on with her design. She's got a much more padded look. She's wearing what appears to be a padded helmet, along with she's got her hair in braids. She's got shoulder pads, elbow pads, gloves, knee pads, all that stuff. And her costume is more black than it is blue. And also she has a chest thing, like I don't know how to describe it, like not armor, but like a pad thing protecting her. So yeah, and she's like I said, she's more black than blue. Peter's is more like dark bluish, but Annie's is more black. And so it's got a few more details on the series that we now have confirmed, is that this is not necessarily going to be married Spider-Man going back to his civilian life with his family. No, this is Spider-Man's family fighting crime together. And so, James, you started to give a few of your thoughts there a minute ago, and we'll let you continue. What do you think of this whole concept of the Amazing Spider Family instead of just the Amazing Spider-Man?
I'm going to support this because it's married Spider-Man, and I want to support Peter and Mary Jane as a couple in the comics. Instead of the Marvel while voting with your wallet. But at the same time, I'll be honest with you, it just feels weird that you would make Mary Jane a superhero full-time in a book. Shot to Mary Jane. I just mean, like, when I heard everybody, I think when they heard about this, they were hoping for just classic Mary, not saying in a bad way, but like Mary Jane, Annie staying at home while Peter's off fighting crime with Spider-Man. And it feels kind of weird that it's gonna be like, well, it's time to take the kid out fighting crime and my wife too, and I'm gonna put them into danger because I'm Peter Parker. I mean, it just feels weird that Peter would let a non-superpowered MJ go on fights with him now after Region. It's just weird.
I will admit,
his daughter, I can see it be more kind of like wait until you're old enough kind of thing.
I will admit that it's a weird twist that I really wasn't expecting out of the series. I feel like looking back, I should have been expecting something like this, but the thing of it is, like, I just never expected the entire family to be taking on the crime fighting mantle. I mean,
like Peter teaching his daughter how to be a superhero.
Yeah, like I would have expected something like that, because when you have Spider-Man's daughter having her own superpowers, yeah, you would expect that kind of father-daughter dynamic between the two of them. And here's the thing, like, you think back to the original Renew Your Vows series that came out last year by Dan Slott. That really also was a book about the Spider-Man family. That was not a book about Spider-Man himself. In fact, the only, Regent was taken down in that book by all three of them working together, not just by Peter himself. And so, look, with that context in mind, I can see how this decision was made. I trust in Jerry Conway. He's one of my all-time favorite Spider-Man writers, and so I definitely support him, and I'm definitely going to be picking this book up just because I'm very interested to see what they do with it. I'm skeptical. I will admit that when I heard this news, my excitement for the book went down a little bit. I mean, I've supported MJ as a spider-themed hero before. Like, I really liked her in Spider Island. I liked what she did at the end of Power Play. You know, I'm not opposed to the idea of MJ being a Spider-Man hero. It's just, I guess under this context of the Spider family, that is something that gives me a little bit of pause. It's something that
I'm not going as far as some people do. That this is a big old Marvel conspiracy theory. I've seen some people say it online. Oh, it's a conspiracy theory. They're doing this on purpose to make sure that. And it's like, one, because Marvel had another easier way to make sure the book tanked. Not even do the book at all and ignore it. Actually releasing it, I think that says they want to do more than the purposely money and effort into a book just so it could tank.
Yeah, it's like if they wanted this
at times, but Marvel's not that stupid.
I don't think Marvel would do something like this just to like teach us a lesson or something, or just to like make us
get money than being married or something like that. I don't see it that way.
It's like I don't think Marvel would
They thought that this is the logical progression to go after renew your vows.
I don't think Marvel would actively try to fail. I think this is them reacting to the high sales numbers and positive reception that Renew Your Vows got and saying, hey, we can make money off of this. We're a for-profit company. Let's do this thing. Like,
in that suit toys, you know, unlimited mobile game. Her and other Spider-Man's games probably is an unlockable character now. You know, the money they get from it, not.
It's like they're not so interested in the creative sense, but like I can see it in the business sense. And so, like, and plus they've attached.
At most, the only little shred of belief I have on that is if the sales did tank on its own, they might blame it on that. Told you this was going to happen or something like that. If the book tanks, and I can see that maybe being a scapegoat out for them, I don't think they're purposely doing it.
Yeah, it's like, especially with
I think they're purposely saying, oh, hey, we can make money off Andy and MJ skins now on Spider-Man games and new toys of them in these costumes and stuff like that. And busts and statues and posters and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I think that, especially with attaching a name like Jerry Conway to the book, I think they're actually taking it fairly seriously. But, I mean, the costumes look fine. I think they're not overly intricate. I mean, they actually look fairly simplistic, but I mean, the costumes look fine. The premise is one that I'll probably have to get used to. I'm still definitely going to pick the book up because, I mean, I'm a fan of Married Spider-Man. I'm a fan of Mary Jane. So,
for all we know, it could be the first arc. Like maybe in the first arc, and then something happens, and Mary Jane's like, you know what, I'm done. You know?
Yeah, and it's like, and to be honest, like I am interested by this premise. So I mean, I'll definitely pick the series up. So I mean,
oh, I'm definitely doing it. I feel like it's really bad. It's one of the things where it's like you gotta do it. Like I don't normally advocate wasting your money on something you're not interested in. There's only two things. A, if you're in the Sentai or Toku fandom, anytime there's an official release of any Toku, you should at least try to get your hands on it, unless it's something like $500 for it. I'm waiting for V3 DVD. No, did I agree with you? That's bullshit. Say fuck it. Time. $50 Sentai set. Try to pick it up because then you will get the season you want. If you say, hey, you're willing to buy this. And that's the same way I feel about this. You buy this, you're telling Marvel, hey, you know, Peter Parker, who's married, him and Mary Jane fighting crime together. It's like a super team with their daughter. You're getting the message across that Marvel, this is what I want. Whatever the hell that Zodiac arc was.
Yeah, so I mean, I think we've basically said everything we need to about this news.
Well, we said everything we need to. Let's go back to Power Morphicon. I got a poster I forgot to bring up.
James, no.
It was autographed by the whole cast of Dino Charge.
Okay, James. That's very nice, but we have a few more things we have to get to. James, we have to have something nutritious before
I
dessert.
miss California. I love LA.
I love LA. Okay, I'm sorry. I won't sing anymore. I'm sorry.
Hey, that first day, a hot chick got kicked out of the swimming pool at my hotel for skinny dipping. My buddy told me, he goes, "Welcome to LA." I go, and then I look up to the sky. I go, "I love LA."
It's like, what have I been missing in Wisconsin?
What are you missing? And like, funny enough, 90 degrees in California is better than 90 degrees in Wisconsin. I think it's because the humidity, and B, we're not used to it.
Yeah, but we will move on from Power Morphicon and from the news because we have
Hot chick in a pool.
Amazing Spider-Man Volume 4, number 16, which I will admit, James's whole story of Power Morphicon and everything, it makes this comic feel like just it doesn't make it feel as important because James went and had an amazing experience in California with going to a convention and everything. But yes,
There's even some things I can't talk about on the podcast.
Amazing. I don't even want to know what that means. Amazing Spider-Man.
No, I just wanted to say that to see your reaction.
I was going to be honest, like, I don't know what that means, but okay. But Amazing Spider-Man Volume 4, number 16.
Somebody asked, I only had one beer. I'm watching a wrestling pay-per-view. This is just one. They're going, he's drunk on the air.
All right, but this is part 1 of the prelude to the big clone conspiracy event that's coming up in October. This is before Dead No More, whatever the part 1, whatever the cost. Writer Dan Slott, penciler Giuseppe Camuncoli, inker Cam Smith, Marte Gracia, colorist, lettering VC's Joe Caramagna, Alex Ross, cover artist, associate editor Devin Lewis, editor Nick Lowe. So this issue picks up not too long after the last issue left off at Mount Sinai Hospital, the private room of J. Jameson Sr. It's not as bad as it looks. I'll be up on my feet in no time. Hush, dear. Let me hear from the nice man who went to medical school. Not going to sugarcoat it, Mrs. Jameson. Your husband is in for a long, protracted fight. He's been in treatment for some time. I suspected. May, how could you? You didn't want me to worry, but there were signs. Well, that's over. We're all in this together now. And so then Jonah Jameson goes off and says, this is all Parker's fault. You've had my old man hopping all across the third world for your charity work. Probably picked up some weird foreign disease. Jonah, you always know what to say. I just hope you're not right. But then the doctor goes on to explain that it's like a rare and hereditary disease within the Jameson gene pool. I never told you that it's genetic. Our disease. The Osborne.
John's
Jameson.
quoting to ASM2. I'm leaving. Goodbye, ladies and gentlemen. Because once John gets on a roll, you think I'm ignoring right now about Power Morphicon.
The Osborne curse, and it began at your age. But yeah, so is there anything more we can do, Dr. McCrae? First and foremost, plenty of rest. Dag blast it, man. She means procedures, medicines, anything. That, Mr. Jameson, is why I've been called in. I'm Dr. Clarkson from New U Technologies. Which, okay, I did not even realize this reference until someone pointed it out to me. New U Technologies they mean new you as in new you, as in a new you, not new you. I did not even realize that until someone on the internet pointed that out to me. Thank you to that.
John, it took you that long. I noticed it when I read the comic.
I'm slow, James. I'm sorry. But
and you want to? Can I just bring up one weird thing about that? I'm calling it right now. That's Warren.
That woman? I'm not even going to try to respond to that, but while there are many traditional treatments for Jay's condition, none are sure things. My company can offer a more radical, cutting-edge approach. This is a new procedure, an extreme one, but I wanted you to hear every option. Yes, so she's like, it's a brand new procedure, but there's a price for being this close to the cutting edge, and some find the cost can be too high. And Jonah Jameson's like, you want to use my father as your little guinea pig, lab rat? Yeah, no. But Peter's like, Dr. Clarkson, I'm serious. We'd like to explore all our options. If you could forward me all the materials about this procedure, I'd like to have my people look it over. Of course, Mr. Parker. And so Peter's like, how are you holding up, Aunt May? I'm okay, Peter. Your company needs you. But Aunt May, you need me here. No, there's a whole company out there of people depending on you. Now go. Those people, their lives are in your hands. And just at that moment in Edmond, Oklahoma, at a Parker Industries chemical plant, boom! And so, yeah, obviously this is like kind of a problem because a Parker Industries chemical plant just blew up. And Peter at that moment is en route to San Francisco for a meeting with his company, and he's looking over the New U Tech medical procedure. This is blowing my mind. Wait till you see this. I'm forwarding all the New U data to you right now. It's revolutionary. A way of using subjects' own DNA to grow not just perfectly compatible organs ready for transplant, but with every genetic defect screened out. So cloning, Peter. No, Anna Maria, this is better than cloning. After the process, patients would actually be healthier than before. Peter, it's cloning. No, it's not cloning, Anna Maria. I have to sell that this isn't cloning so that I can justify this story arc. But it's cloning, Peter. No, it's not. It's totally not. But it's cloning. So, Peter, doesn't this sound a little mad scientist to you? We're care for a tasty beverage. I know you're feeling bad about Jay, and you always like to fix things. Yeah, as Spider-Man, and I don't always win. But look at this and imagine what I could do with it as Peter Parker. So Peter's going on to say how he could save millions of lives by using this, blah, 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 blah. That'd be wonderful, and this all looks very promising, but yes, very promising. Brain, what's gotten into you? Very promising indeed.
I wonder what that's setting up, John.
James, are we finally going to get some actual development in this story that's been going on for a year now? Are we actually...
Over that, and whenever Superior ended.
Like, literally, this whole living brain thing has been going on for a year, and literally, it has not moved ahead even slightly. Like, there is...
Oh, he got jealous. He got yelled at Anna Maria, and he had that whole creepy Peter has the perfect body speech. And that's it.
Like, literally, nothing has happened with this story. Like, Dan Slott, you sure know how to drag a plot out. But,
especially when you have, like, 2 or 3 issues a month.
Yeah, so,
Right.
Anna Maria at that moment says, Peter, you might want to turn on the news. We're here in Oklahoma, where there's been a terrible explosion at Parker Industries in Edmond. Pilot, turn the plane around. But, sir, we're hours out from San Francisco. Forget San Fran. We're going to Oklahoma right now. And so back at the Jackal's laboratory, yep, turns out Dan Slott has just completely left. He's just completely abandoned that mystery. It's the Jackal. It's officially confirmed. We all knew this like a year ago, but I guess Slott finally figured out that he wasn't as subtle as he thinks he is. And he's like, okay, everyone knows it's the Jackal. I'm just going to admit it because I'm not fooling anyone at this point. So they are in the process of trying to repower Electro because Electro lost his powers back during Volume 3, the first Silk arc actually of Volume 3. Jackal's trying to get his electricity back up, and Electro's pretty hesitant because he's like, look, I changed my mind, Miles. I ain't going through with this. I mean, why should I? What's in it for me? I'm giving you your power back, Max, and so much more. Here, let me sweeten the pot. Hey, Dylan, who are you supposed to be? Miles brought me back fresh. No piercings, yeah, because those things. No piercings, tats, or hair dye, but it's me. Francine? Yeah, Francine is the girl he accidentally fried back in Volume 3, Number 2, I think. I think that was the issue. So he's like, and your slate is clean now, Max. That's what I can give you. We have a deal? Yes, anything. Do it. And just at that moment, as they start the experiment, Jackal receives word of the disaster at Parker Industries in Oklahoma, and he's like, this could be very interesting. And so Spider-Man arrives on the scene in Oklahoma. Spider-Man, you're here. Did Parker send you? As soon as he heard, how can I help? Our emergency teams went in there and tried to get everyone out, but some areas are completely blocked off. How many people are unaccounted for? 6. I see him. Okay, I'm going in to get him. And so Spider-Man goes in. He starts cracking jokes, and the workers trapped inside are like, is he cracking jokes at a time like this? I'm a professional. I'm lightening the mood. I'm calming you down. You're being annoying. That's what you're doing. Yeah? Are you focusing on that or the fire? Touche. Trained professional. So he goes in. He manages to get 5 out of the 6 of them out. Is anyone else in there? Yeah, Jerry. He was down the hall, but we couldn't. Don't worry. I'll find him. Jerry, don't. Stay away. Get out of here. The chemicals are going to ignite. You'll never get me out in time. No, I have to get him out. This thing weighs tons, but it doesn't matter. This man is my responsibility. Really? Really? You did.
Brand new day, they said they were going to stop doing this shit.
Gee, for gosh sake, how many times have you done this? Just like, I literally read this and I literally said out loud.
Remember,
was like, oh, for
Brand
God's
new day's
sake.
manifesto. Brand new day's manifesto said, John,
no more bridges.
we're never lifting up stuff no more, and we're never going on a bridge.
And literally, off the page of 33, it's like, guys, get new material, please. Just, I'm sick of this.
I think the problem is that I think the problem is Marvel meant that, but then they hired the wrong man who's into continuity up the yin-yang. He's like, I gotta do it. It's continuity. It's Spider-Man.
Yeah, but it's been done like 30 different times. It's not cool anymore. It was cool in 1965. That was it.
It's like this joke in wrestling. If you keep on doing the same thing over and over again, the fans can get bored because they're like, well, what else you got? The reason why the NWO got boring because every weekend, and okay, we've seen the NWO beat up the same guy 5 times already. What else is new? Okay, so, we know you can lift something heavy, Peter. We've known that for 50 years now. Doing it.
Yeah.
Like it's an impressive feat. It's like literally you can do that in your sleep. We know that already.
So yeah, Spider-Man gets the guy out, but he's having health problems because he inhaled so many chemicals. His lungs are fried, his heart's failing. And so he looks it over and he's like, no, I need to save this man's life. I need a miracle. Stealth suit, stealth mode 1, go dark. Webware, call Dr. Rita Clarkson. Dr. Clarkson, this is an emergency. I need your help right away. Has Mr. Jameson taken a turn for the... No, one of my employees in Oklahoma, his heart and lungs, he needs your procedure. As CEO, I'm approving all of this. I'll fly in your whole team, whatever the cost. But we have to move now. Let me check with my supervisor. And look, it's the Jackal, because no one expected that. So, yeah.
Except for the fact that I called it the second they introduced it.
Do it. Let's give Mr. Parker a taste of how the magic works. So, yeah, the procedure works, and the guy's alive. But Peter's spider sense goes off when he sees him. Why is my spider sense going off? Something is very wrong. What's New You done to you? And right then at New You headquarters in San Francisco, Jonah Jameson. I don't often say this, but I'm sorry. I know people tell stories about me that I'm hot-tempered, arrogant, miserly, but nothing's more important to me than family. I'd do anything to protect mine at any price. Here, this is a special account. Every penny I've squeezed out over the years. Do you worst, Doc. Thank you, editors, for not noticing that. It should be do your worst. Do your worst, Doc. Max it out. See if I care. But I've had the best eggheads I've known go over your gobbledygook. It seems sound. But you have your doubts. Listen, I promise it'll work. And maybe soon enough you could mention it on the Fact Channel. I mean Fox News. I mean the Fact Channel. Ha! I knew there'd be a catch. You want me to help you?
Your subtle political joke, John, was so subtle.
It's not mine. It's
Nobody caught that. Why don't you explain it to them? Because I don't think anybody caught your subtle joke, John.
It's not my joke. It's Dan Slott's joke. But, knew there'd be a catch. You want me to help you sell this snake oil of yours? Is that it, Clarkson? Mr. Jameson, I'd like to demonstrate our product to you, if I may. Oh my. Marla? It's good to see you again, dear. Feels like a lifetime. No, just 100 issues about, if you count Superior. Yeah. To be continued. Dun, dun,
Superior.
dun. So yeah, that was part one of the prelude to Clone Conspiracy. That wasn't the actual first part of Clone Conspiracy. That was just part one of the prelude.
It's part one of the first part. Man, it's great to be back in the Clone Saga, isn't it?
Yeah. So just to preface these reviews, let's just point it out right now. I am the guy who cannot stand the Clone Saga. I am the guy who says the Clone Saga is the absolute worst era of Spider-Man to ever happen. Worse than the Howard Mackie.
Superior.
Worse than Superior. Worse than the Mackie Byrne reboot. Worse than the Denny O'Neil era. Worse than the absolute worst times of Spectacular or Web of Spider-Man.
You're going to your room without dinner. Go to your room.
I already ate dinner, so joke's on you. But it's just like the Clone Saga, in my opinion. I am number one, James. Thanks for telling me. But yeah, the Clone Saga, in my opinion, is the worst era of Spider-Man history. James is a massive Clone Saga fan. He loves Ben Reilly. He's been very vocal about his support of the Clone Saga on this podcast. So it'll be interesting to hear what we both have to say about Clone Saga 3, basically, because it happened.
Somebody just tweeted me, man, is John stupid for not liking the Clone Saga?
No one just tweeted you that. You're lying to me.
John, did you hear my phone just go off?
No, I didn't hear your phone just go off. But it's possible you were getting a text message about something completely unrelated. You're lying to me, James. You don't fool me anymore. After 104 episodes, you don't fool me anymore. But, okay, say something so it shows up on the screen so that I can see it. But, look.
Of course, the screen freezes up right then and there. I'm pressing the button. Look.
All right, but look, James is a Clone Saga fan. I am a Clone Saga hater. So what will we think about Clone Saga 3? Let me tell you, after this first issue, I'm actually kind of intrigued. Like, I did not expect to enjoy this issue as much as I did. I actually thought that this was a pretty solid first part to this prelude to the Clone Saga 3. And yes, I say all of that jokingly because it's like, man, this is a complicated event. It feels like. But I enjoyed this issue. I honestly did. First of all, the general premise of this, of them growing back organs without the health defects and everything, it feels to me like a new way of addressing the clone, like a new way of presenting the clone idea. They're going somewhere different with it. And it also seems to me that the Jackal is acting, there's an interview that came out with Dan Slott and Nick Lowe recently that said that the Jackal is a quote-unquote new man. And I can definitely see that reflected in his personality here. So I'm interested by where they're going with it. I actually kind of care about where this story is leading, and I'm not completely down on the idea yet because I don't like clones. I don't like the Jackal. I don't like any of it. But this story actually kind of has me a little bit interested. So that is a point in their favor. I'm not really sure whether or not Peter should have realized that was cloning or not. Because here's the thing. It's like we have the dramatic irony, predisposition of we know it's cloning. We know everything about this. But Peter looks at this and sees an opportunity to save millions of lives. That is very Peter Parker. I get that.
He also doesn't know that it's Jackal.
Well, I mean,
Jackal.
He doesn't know that the Jackal is even out there doing stuff right now. I mean, everything that the Jackal's done in this volume has been out of Peter's watch. I mean, he doesn't even know any of this is happening right now. So like that I'll give to him. Like he doesn't even know that the Jackal's doing anything right now.
He might think that it's some kind of form of cloning, obviously, because you're literally rebuilding somebody's exact copy of their thing. But he's not thinking in the mind of, oh my God, it's a clone saga all over again. Somebody else came up with cloning, and they're using it for good.
So
he's not. No, it's the same dumb fucker who's doing the same shit to me all over again.
So like I can buy it for now, and plus he is obviously starting to become suspicious. He's like, wait a minute, why is my spider sense going off? What exactly is this? And, you know, so I can understand all of that. It does come, like, it comes as a shock to me as the reader. It's like, Peter, it's cloning.
Why I got a weird feeling that I have to go back to my house and listen to grunge music, and we're like, oh my God, it's clone. It's like Peter really knows. Why I got a feeling for 90s stuff? Like Peter's freaks out, kill me now.
So yeah, I like all of that. I like the final scene with Jonah. It's just like Jonah Jameson, like he says, he's always hot-tempered and all that, but when it comes to his family, he's always very caring. He will do anything for them. And so I really, really enjoy that scene. I thought he was characterized really well. And also, fun fact, this is like the first ASM issue in like 2 years that Jonah Jameson has actually played a major role in. So congratulations, Jonah Jameson. You've managed to come out of the supporting books and actually back into the main book where you belong. So yay. This is like the first time we've seen him in Amazing. Like, I think, well, I mean, we saw him last issue and we saw him like in issue 3 with the Human Torch in the Baxter Building. But those were like little almost cameo appearances, whereas this one, it's like he's actually playing a role in the story. So this is like the first time in 2 years that he's done that. So good for you, Jonah. You managed to get yourself out of the Silk book and back into the Spider-Man book. But yeah, so I like all of that. My main problem with this issue is just the scene of Spider-Man lifting stuff up again. It's like, guys, get new material, please. I'm so done with this. If anyone does this again, I'm just gonna freak out because we've seen it.
I like how you're saying this. But like a year from now, you're not gonna be saying the same thing. In 4 years from now, in 10 years from now, in 20 years from now, in 30 years from now.
James, I'm going to be honest with you. If we go a full year without seeing this again, I'll count it as a win. I'm going to be honest with you. But, like, yeah, I'm done with him lifting stuff up. And also, like, I didn't really like the dialogue that he had during the scene of, like, people saying, you're cracking jokes right now. I'm a trained professional. I'm lightening the mood. It's what I do. Like, I was just like, I don't really approve of that. But anyway, it's, you know, I like all, you know, I like this issue mostly. The Marla Jameson, you know, a little stinger at the end, not a shock at all. Like, literally, if that was supposed to be a surprise, it failed. But I mean, it's a good hook to go into the next issue. But I mean, it wasn't a shock at all. But I give this issue a thumbs up, which is shocking to me because, like, I don't like the Clone Saga usually. The Clone Saga is my absolute least favorite time in all of Spider history. And here we are working our way into Clone Saga 3, and I'm giving a positive mark. So, James, what do you think of this issue?
Or is it in the first part of this saga?
Yeah, that is an advantage. No Judas Traveler.
Part 2 is this Return of Judas Traveler. Watch John freak the fuck out.
If Judas Traveler ever comes back, I'm walking away.
You know he's not. Because remember, Dan Slott said the one character he'll never use is Judas Traveler.
It's that Dan Slott has sworn that he will never use Mindworm or Judas Traveler. Thank you, Dan. Thank you. When did he use Mindworm?
In that Spider-Man Human Torch book, he used them. It was a joke villain going back where it took place in the 70s, but still it happened.
But anyway,
This is way out of it because it's like, oh, it took place during the time period of the Mindworm issue, so that's why it's okay. But it happened. He wrote a Mindworm story.
But anyway, James.
That was Fred Ghost and Super Apes. Wait, sorry, wrong shitty villain. It was Fred Ghost and Super Apes.
Anyway, James, what did you think of this issue? James.
It was okay issue. There's things about it I didn't like. Like, I thought the artwork could have been a little bit better this month. I thought that things like thing is finally getting going. And it's like I count this as a negative because it should have happened, literally years ago. It feels like
Superior. I was just thinking about that. Like, Superior Spider-Man feels like it was forever ago, and we're still dealing with it.
it's weird. It's like Peter. There's just little things, that kind of annoy me. It's a good issue. I like some of the stuff, but there's little things that annoy, like the obvious new eugenics. It's like you couldn't be more obvious that this is Jackal's company. That was obvious. Some of the other things that happened, like Jade, Sean, it's obvious it's gonna happen. Now Jonah's gonna do something that's gonna help Jackal out now for his father and kill Spider-Man. It's pretty obvious. It's just like it's pretty obvious where it's already a predictable arc, and they're proving that by literally I read this issue and I felt like I didn't need to read this issue. I could have told you exactly what was gonna happen. Oh, it's going to turn out that, Jackal is running some company and he's going to use cloning to make good again. And Peter does something and it's irrelevant to the main plot with Jackal, kind of, but it is relevant. It's the building blowing up. It's like Parker Industries going to blow up. And it's like, is this the end of Parker Industries? No, it's not.
Well, I think we all knew that going into this.
It's just like, very predictable. It was a very paint-by-number Spider-Man story, even down to lifting heavy shit. It was very much predictable. By the way, the only really interesting thing I like, it gives you hope that maybe some of the clone people who are coming back alive are actually the people. Clone whatever part of their body killed them, body and reanimated them somehow. And maybe some of these are actually the real people and some are the clones. Like it could have happened. He could have cloned Gwen a new neck. I mean, it could have happened.
Yeah, that was something that intrigued me about this issue as well. Is like, are these people clones, or did he literally get them?
Just clone the body part they needed to live.
And that's another thing too. Is like, I thought about this as well. Back in Superior Spider-Man, when Superior Spider-Man happened, and Doc Ock's body was missing from the grave, I think we might actually finally get that resolved 3 years later. But
I think that's the way it's going to go. If Marvel, let's say they do want to bring back Gwen Stacy, and they want to say, no, this is Gwen, I call it right now that it's going to be revealed that he just replaced all her organs with living organs. The Gwen Stacy body somehow not decaying after all these years, put her organs in a clone body and somehow reanimated it. I won't be surprised if the twist ends up being the real Gwen Stacy or the real insert character here. Connor's family or the real, not real Uncle Ben, obviously, but like I wouldn't be shocked if it ends up being like, oh, it's the real Gwen Stacy just with new clone parts in her or some bullshit like that.
Yeah, so any other thoughts, James? And do you give this issue a thumbs up, a thumbs sideways, or a thumbs down?
Interested, but it just feels very, for a clone sequel, it just feels very weird. It almost feels like I said, it's just going to be him reanimating body parts using clone technology. And that's a very different twist. But a small part of me still wants him to like show up and say, hey, look, Ben Reilly's here. It turns out I took the real Ben Reilly and kidnapped him all these years. And it was a fake clone that degenerated in front of you. And Clone Saga, a part of me is still waiting for that to happen. And I think there might be a little bit of that. But it'll probably end with like the clone of Ben immediately degenerating, being like, oh, I lied. Smoke and mirrors, Jackal. For 5 minutes.
Anyways, James, so up, sideways, down, somewhere in between.
It's somewhere in between sideways and up. I'll say that right now. It was good. It was just a lot of little. It was just like very predictable. It's like, what else you got?
All right, but That is a clone conspiracy, or the prelude to clone conspiracy, at least for now. But there was one other book that came out in the past 2 weeks, and that is Civil War II: Amazing Spider-Man #3. Just a little warning right now.
A clash.
And just a little note right now. This and this, the cover and the recap page. That's all there is of Civil War II in this book. Ulysses, the character who
literally Slott had no time because Slott is now finally wrapping up some shit. He's like, I have no time to wrap up this setup. Oh, Spider-Man needs a book that's a tie into Civil War. As the guy who's the main focal point of Civil War, start the whole Peter, clash thing in the first issue, and I'll pass it on to another writer to finish the story. There we go, and I can go back to writing clones. It feels very much like that.
Yeah,
there's a slot you need to fill in that, plot hole too. So he said, "Here, you go deal with it with your tie-in with Civil War." The other 5,000 things I need to deal with.
Yeah, but it's like, so this is a Civil War II tie-in. Ulysses, the character around which all of Civil War II is based, is not even in the issue, not mentioned in the issue. Civil War II, the events of it, not even mentioned in the issue. Literally, this is a Civil War II tie-in on the cover and on the recap page, and that's it. But credits, we got writer Christos Gage, artist Travel Foreman, color artist Rain Barreto, letterer VC's Joe Caramagna, cover artist Travel Foreman and Jason Keith, associate editor Devin Lewis, editor Nick Lowe. So this issue starts at Parker Industries. Peter is feeling badly about, he feels like he treated Clayton badly because,
Peter feels bad for the little psychopath that you should have never hired in the first place.
Yeah, it's like, Peter, your sympathy is completely misplaced here. But so Peter is feeling badly, and Harry's like, cheer up, Peter. Could you have handled things better? Maybe. But as an ex-bad guy myself, I don't think you did anything unreasonable. Clayton's a grown man. He made his own choices, and he's responsible for them. Now it's on him to make the right ones. So Clayton walks in to Mendel Strom's place,
pulls up his pants and says, "I am Clash, hear me roar."
Yeah, and he walks in as Clash, and he sees Strom as the Robot Master, and so he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna work for you." Psych. So, yeah. So Clash tries to take Robot Master down, but he's like, "Yeah, did you really think I'd be dumb enough to let you come in here without protecting my robots first? So yeah, listen, I do appreciate you bringing your new equipment by. I look forward to adding it to mine." So Clash is like, "Okay, I'm kind of, out of my league here. This was a really bad idea. Oh man, like I'm gonna get destroyed." And then all of a sudden, Spider-Man shows up.
Have they ever answered the question yet? Strom's dead. He died in the Clone Saga.
Yeah, like we brought this up last month when we reviewed this issue, and when we reviewed the last issue, I'm gonna bring it up again. When did Mendel Strom come back? Like, I don't remember this.
Spider-Man 1. That was a movie. It's not even the right it's not even the same universe. It doesn't count.
It's like, I didn't know. Like, when did this character come back? I didn't know. But yeah, so a Spider-Man shows up. He takes on Strom. Clash manages to distract the robots, but eventually they decide to pull a big Transformers move and say, "Prepare for devastation. I am Devastator." No, that was a Transformers reference. I'm sorry, but the modern world is full of robots, and I am the Robot Master. And Spider-Man's like, "Giant robots, always giant robots. Robots. I hate robots."
That was Leah Pardon.
That was a 90s show. Yeah, that was a 90s.
It's called Leah Pardon.
Yeah, but so 90s
you know show. What Leah Pardon is, right?
Yes, I know who Leah Pardon is. But my 90s show references aside, and Japanese Spider-Man show references aside,
Tokusatsu. And fun fact, if I can interrupt you, that series happened in between Jekka and Battle Fever, and because of that, the next Marvel superhero show in Japan, Battle Fever J, which was going to be a Captain America show, instead they changed it to a Sentai show, added the robot. The ratings went for a spike, And because of that, we got Power Rangers. When I went to, and thanks to that, I went to Power Morphicon. So thank you, Spider-Man. It all ties back in. Spider-Man show with a robot. Power Rangers would have never been on the air. So thank you, Spider-Man.
So Clash manages to take down Devastator. I mean, the Robot Master's robots by basically pulling out one of Megan Trainor's tricks and going all about that bass, no travel. I'm not kidding. He says it all about that bass, baby. So I'm not kidding. Spider-Man.
When did they quote that? Was that from like a movie?
All about that bass? That's a Megan Trainor song.
Trainor.
What?
Who's Megan Trainor?
She's a singer. You've never heard that song?
What the fuck do I know?
I'm surprised you never heard that song. That song was like really overplayed on the radio, but okay. So yeah, Spider-Man.
I don't give a shit about Peter Proper crap. That's why.
So Spider-Man manages to take down the Robot Master, and then he's like, "Hey, Clash, you weren't supposed to use your Clash tech." Oh, but Spider-Man, I was trying to show you that I could be a good guy. Like, that's pretty much what it boils down to. He's like, but Spider-Man. No, Clash. No. Bad Clash.
Shit that happened in the first Clash storyline.
Bad Clash. Bad.
I'm the good guy while doing evil shit.
So it's like
Paint by Number Spider-Man. That's what we should call this episode of the podcast. Power Morphicon and Paint by Number Spider-Man.
So Clash gets, so Spider-Man's like, you violated your parole. I have to take your Sonic stuff away. You can't work with Sonics anymore. But Sonics are my thing, my specialty. What I'm better at than anybody else. And the thing that keep getting you into trouble. The thing that got you thrown in jail. The thing you can't stay away from. Look, you're a brilliant mind. You can do a lot of great things. Not as good as I am with Sonics. That's the only thing that makes me special. Listen. No one's trying to take anything away from you.
You can deal with Sonics and not dress up like a fucking superhero, jackass.
That's exactly what Peter's like. He's like, no one's trying to take anything away from you. You can still design this stuff. You just can't use it. So I'm on a leash. No, it's not like that. Is Tony Stark on a leash because he can't drink a beer? So I'm an alcoholic now? Oh, jeez. Look, you're a guy who gets into trouble when you use Sonic, so you have to stay away from them. Can you get that? It's the only way to protect you. There's another way.
If I want to make love the Sonics, I can.
Yeah, so he basically blasts Spider-Man away to be
Sonic lives matter.
Dun dun dun. So yeah, this issue, wow. I liked it more than the last issue because it wasn't as boring, but I still don't care about Clash.
Sonic strifing. I'm just saying that right now. He'll start like humping the cars. I mean, that's just the way he sounds, Clayton. When I read this issue,
I gotta tell you,
he sounds like he's obsessed. He's an obsessed psycho ex-girlfriend.
But it's like, yeah. Look, I don't care about Clash, and the thing that excites me most about this issue is the fact that we're moving towards the end of his storyline. I will admit that the fight sequence was pretty good. I enjoyed it. The ending scene with him blasting Spider-Man away was completely predictable, but still, it's leading us towards the end of his story. So just on that, it gets a thumbs up. But I will admit the fight scene was fun. I don't know when Mendel Stromm came back, but you know what? It was decent seeing him and his massive Devastator Transformer-ish, rip-off robot thing. So that was entertaining. But other than that, this issue, I have like literally nothing to say about it. It's like, this was the least, like, for a Civil War II tie-in, this really wasn't a Civil War II tie-in, but whatever. I give it a thumbs up. It's a fine comic. Like, it's not something, this whole series is something that you can completely skip and not miss anything. It's like, if you're just bored on a rainy day, you can read this.
McClayton things they were setting for 3 years.
But James, what do you think of this issue? Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? Did you find it?
It was shit.
Jeez, James, tell us how you really feel.
Well, it was super shit to the point that I feel like I wasted valuable minutes of my life reading this piece of shit. I will now die one day regretting I read this book.
Those were minutes I could have spent at Power Morphicon.
Those were minutes I could have spent with a girl probably having fun.
Okay, but I
Instead,
don't really know how to.
I spent them reading a book about a guy who gets off the Sonics. I mean,
So
I got a
James,
kid poster in the background that says Sonic Boom. Is he gonna want to make out with that poster?
so James, should I assume that you're giving this a thumbs down?
No, you can't assume that. You can guarantee it's 2 thumbs down. This is shit.
Okay. Okay. Oh my gosh, that was entertaining. I don't know why that entertained me so much. But yes, that's gonna do it. That's gonna do it for the reviews this week.
The shit.
That's gonna do it for the reviews this week, and that's also gonna do it for this episode of the
I don't
podcast.
get to talk about why I think it's shit. Like, seriously?
Oh, you just said it was. I'm sorry. I didn't know that you wanted to keep going.
1, this storyline felt like it should have happened a year ago in Amazing Spider-Man. 2, this guy has the worst heel turn in the history. I mean, seriously. This was going to happen that Peter's going to either A, try to prevent him turning heel and he's going to turn evil, or he's not and he's going to turn evil anyways and Peter should have prevented it. Peter should see it. It's this guy's own fucking fault. Because all Peter says is, hey, dude, you can design all the shit you want. Just don't dress up in a fucking costume and do stuff with him. Well, that means I can't do it. I'm on a leash. I want to marry Sonics. Stand my love. And then he takes off his pants and tries to make love to Sonics, it feels like.
Ew. Ew. That's a bad image. I didn't need that image in my head. Oh.
What is this guy's like? He's this psycho ex-girlfriend to it. And I'm like, oh my god, this guy's fucking annoying. Get him away from this tie into the sequel to the biggest comic event of all time.
Which
Mitchell Straub. Is it because the clones? Seriously, it's because the clones conspiracy is going on there. We're like, hey, let's use Mental Strong. Fucking we explain how he's still alive.
Like, seriously, can someone, if anyone watching this knows when he came back to life, please put it in the comments. Because, like,
get it, Harry. You were a supervillain once. We've all seen Amazing Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 3. We all read the comics. We know you were a goblin once. Shut the fuck up that every appearance you make now, that all you can say is, well, as an ex-supervillain, as an ex-Green Goblin, well, shut it, Harry.
Literally, I think in every issue since he's come back, I think Harry has made reference to the fact that I was a Green...
Spider Slayers. Bad.
I was a Green Goblin once.
As an ex-baddie. Oh, like we don't know that Harry Osborn was a former Green Goblin. Fuck you.
Peter.
It's like literally, I got a phone call from Marvel, and it's like I'm reading this comic, and I'm on the phone with Marvel, and I'm like, you know what, Marvel? This comic was shit. Thank you, fuck you, bye. And then I hung up the phone on them.
Jeez. James, without Marvel, we wouldn't get anything at all.
Oh, then I'm glad I can say that because I wouldn't get this shit when I got good DC Rebirth issues I also read.
All right, but James, anything else before you get Marvel, before you convince Marvel not to print any more Spider-Man?
I'm not saying don't print any more Spider-Man. I'm just saying stop printing shit.
All right, but
literally, the last time I went to the bathroom, I looked down in the toilet and this comic was floating in it.
Okay, that was the most mature thing anyone's ever said on this podcast. We are the most mature podcast on the web, ladies and gentlemen.
Shit, John.
All right. Well, that's gonna do it for the reviews this week. And that's also gonna do it for this episode of the podcast. Wow, that was I did not expect that. I did not expect that, ladies and gentlemen. I was experiencing it right there with you.
And I want to repeat, I only had one beer. This is just how I really felt about this comic.
Shout outs this week, James. Do you have any shout outs that you can do in under 5 minutes?
Power Morphicon, like I said, the poster. You know, shout out to Scott who runs Power Morphicon. I can't remember your last name. I'm sorry, but hope that it's in 2018 so I can hang out with all the cool people I did again. And because it's okay to repeat because it's been 2 years, and that was the most sad thing. It went from a weekend of you telling people, hey, I'll see you tonight, or I'll see you at the panel, or I'll see you in 5 minutes, or I'll see you upstairs in the room, or I'll see you at the bar, or I'll see you wherever. And it was turned to, well, I'll see you in 2 years, maybe. Maybe if there's another convention near both of us, we can meet up, maybe, but we don't know for sure, probably not. It was just the best weekend I can remember in my life. Thank you to Saban, Paramorphicon, their staff, even though there was some bullshit party. Oh my God, was it awkward? You don't know how awkward it is. There's a YouTuber who is now one of my friends who I met at Paramorphicon, Shukin Shinobi. Look up his video about his vlog. I'm in the video too. Party that was so goddamn awkward. Most people left like an hour before it ended because they lied about pizza. There was no goddamn pizza. But anything. And that goddamn line where it was pretty much people in a line shitting about why didn't we get our goddamn t-shirts and hoodie yesterday. So all the panels I went to some amazing panels. Cameron Jibo from Power Rangers Super Mega Force falling on his ass because he couldn't even sit on the chair. That was hilarious. I mean, seeing Ranger actor, who's my all-time favorite Ranger, getting drunk in a bar, licking people's faces, saying hashtag fuck Tommy, calling his agent a demonic cougar ninja was the best time of my life.
I'm pretty sure you shouldn't call
bar that whole night period. Talking to awesome people from Database Ranger, the Seamus from Dances Poker Rants, and many other podcasts, to other people I met at the convention who I friended on Facebook. Having dinner with Bruno and Mia from MMPR Toys. Just having dinner with my buddy Milan from Angel Go Radio. You know, just everybody I met at the con. I don't want to start naming off names because I don't want to go through a Facebook list to make sure I remember your names. But if you're watching this, I had a fun time with you guys. Hope to see you guys in 2 years. Anybody new, just come up to me. It was a fun time. Best time of my life. I can't believe it was a week ago already. I wish I could turn back time and I can go back and it's that Sunday night again, me hanging out with all these awesome, cool people. Had so much fun. Buddy Mark, who I met there at the convention because he's British, is still out there queuing, like standing out there in line because there's a photo on his Facebook page where he says, I'm waiting for the next Morphicon. And it was, I don't blame him if he actually is still just standing there for like 2 years. It was a fun time of my life. Thank you again. Thank you, Saban. That emotional Yoshi. I said on Twitter, if you didn't get emotional, if you saw that, it was really touching, emotional moment between two brothers. Best time of my life. From the cast members I met, you're awesome. From the other fans I met, you're awesome. Unless you're those weirdos who talk to me about how they can't talk to somebody who was on the season 2 years ago, which is weird. But anybody else, best time of my life. Thank you. I wish it's 2018 already and I could be at the next Paramorphicon. But there's so many awesome things. The movie and the Dino Charge, even though the last new episode was shit. From the bottom of my heart, and I pray that, and I hope it's true that there's another one in 2018 because I'm on the first flight out there, and I'll see you all there if you're there too.
And we also learned that apparently James's favorite.
Oh, and I got a new job.
Oh, that's good.
I got a different job with better hours and more money, so I took it. So I'm working at a grocery store here now and no longer at McDonald's. So new shout out to Pick and Save, the grocery store to hire me now. And no shout out to McDonald's because I don't work for McDonald's anymore.
And a shout out to James's favorite Ranger because he apparently likes to call his agents, who schedule him jobs and stuff, demonic ninja people.
Because she cut him off from beer.
So yeah.
Here, to Christopher Kimberly, because I know you're probably out there.
My shout out this week. Marvel Stanley, Steve Getco, Dan Slott, Christos Gage, Travel Foreman, Giuseppe Camicoli. Thank you for Spider-Man. Thank you for the comics reviewed this week. Other shout outs.
Thank you, Stanley, for trying to get Sun Vulcan in America. It's the first American Japanese Super Sentai series, but it didn't happen. But Hayao Saban did until once again bringing it back. Thank you, Paramorphicon. I'm gonna shut up now, but week of my life. I know it makes John feel sad because he always thinks the weekend highlight for me is this show. I don't know how to say this, but no matter how many good episodes we have, nothing top 4 Morphicon.
I know James's highlight of the weekend is never this show.
It is most of the time, but not for Morphicon.
Oh, that's nice to hear. But what other shout-outs do I have this week? See, here's the thing. I'm so insecure now because nothing I can say can top that. So it's like I'm not even gonna bother. Just I apologize to everyone. I don't know. I'm sorry. Shout out to the simple life, I guess, of Northeast Ohio college student who doesn't have money.
Shout out to WWF SummerSlam that's going on right now.
So yeah. We will see you guys next week because we're hopefully coming back to our regular weekly schedule again, which will be fun. We don't have another issue of ASM.
2 years. Next part comes again, I'm going to tell John, fuck you. Especially if we got issues like the Civil War II time, which was shit.
But yeah, next week.
I'm John for stopping picking up the book. I'm just telling you that right now. For just saying, hey, you cover it. Give a shit no more.
Yes, I kind of
give a shit no more when that book ain't shit.
I kind of figured that was going to happen. So yeah, next weekend we'll be covering classic issues, and then the week afterwards, the first weekend of September, I think, we'll have a new issue of ASM. So yeah, we got a pretty good, exciting couple of weeks coming up here. Clone Conspiracy is only a month away. That starts in October, so we'll be covering that. We don't know when the Renew Your Vows series starts, so whenever that starts, we'll be covering that on the podcast as well.
And said they wanted to compete in the war, so they're waiting till. No, wait, they don't want to compete against Clone Conspiracy, so they're waiting till after Clone Conspiracy.
Yeah, it might be a few months. So yeah. So thank you all for tuning in. I see we have some live viewers right now, so I appreciate that. So yeah. We apologize if we've offended anybody on this podcast because James.
Who will you offend?
I don't know the people.
Honest review of a comic book, like calling it shit, but it's an honest review. I hope that somebody from Marvel has a bigger stand than that.
All right, but
negative. I liked it. I didn't like it. Okay, I was kind of positive on the new issue, and I praised Power Morphicon for literally the show. Who did I offend, John? Seriously.
I will just log off now. Okay. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Good night.